Hi, I'm Lisa. I'd like to give you an English vocabulary test. This test deals with prefixes. A lot of my students make mistakes on these prefixes. Let's see how you do on this test. You probably know what a prefix is. It's something that goes in front of a word. The most common prefix is un. Un is a prefix to mean not, or to express a negative, or to express the opposite. So we say happy, unhappy, fair, unfair. But prefixes are not always that simple. We have 10 different prefixes to express the meaning of not or of something negative. You can often use the word not to express something negative, but sometimes it's much more common to actually use the word with the prefix. For example, regular, irregular. People are more likely to say irregular than to say not regular. And be careful about false friends. What are false friends? These are words that are similar in English and your native language. For example, for the word satisfied, in English the prefix is unsatisfied, but for Spanish it's insatisfecha or insatisfecho. It's not always the same prefix if your native language is a Romance language, Spanish, Italian, French, Portuguese, or Romanian. Be careful about that. So for the test, you will see a word on the screen, and you will need to decide which negative prefix goes with that word. You have 10 different prefixes to choose from. Your 10 choices are a, ab, dis, ill, im, in, ir, miss, non, and un. All of these prefixes mean not. They create the opposite meaning of the word. All right, let's get started with the first one. Accurate. What is the correct prefix for accurate? To mean something is not accurate or something is not correct. Something is wrong. The correct answer is inaccurate. Inaccurate. Did you get that one right? And by the way, take notes and keep score. There are 20 questions. Let's see how many you get right. Repeat after me. I apologize for giving you inaccurate information. The next one is aware. What is a negative prefix? Unaware. Unaware. Repeat after me. I was unaware of the situation until you told me about it. The next one is a verb, to behave. What is the prefix? To misbehave. This word is usually used for children when they're not behaving well, when they're not listening to their parents or to their teachers. The children misbehave. You can say, if you misbehave in class, the teacher will call your parents. The next word is caring. What is the prefix of caring? And by the way, a caring person is a nice person, a kind person, someone who thinks of other people and does kind things for them. What is the prefix? Uncaring. And that means unkind, not showing any concern or any sympathy for others. And we can say, I was shocked by his uncaring and selfish attitude. And what is the prefix of this word? Fortune. Fortune is a noun. And the prefix is misfortune. Misfortune means bad luck, an unfortunate situation or event. I heard that they lost everything in the fire. What a terrible misfortune. Or you can say, he has suffered great misfortune in his life. A lot of bad things happened to him. He's had a lot of bad luck. And by the way, we have the word fortunately, and for that word, the prefix is unfortunately. But for fortune, which is a noun, we say misfortune for the opposite meaning. And how about the next word? It's a verb, to judge. The prefix is to misjudge. To have a wrong or unfair opinion of someone. or it can also mean to guess an amount or distance wrongly. You can use the verb misjudge this way. I thought he was a nice person. It's now clear that I completely misjudged him. The pilot misjudged the elevation of the runway. And how about the next verb, to manage? To manage. If you don't manage something well, if you manage it badly, what do we say? What is the prefix? We say to mismanage. Once again, we use the prefix mis. The business went bankrupt because the new CEO mismanaged it. The state's finances have been badly mismanaged. The next one is an adjective, normal. If something is not normal, what do we say? It's abnormal. This warm weather is abnormal for December. And we can use the noun form, abnormality. And we can use it like this in a sentence. The X-ray didn't show any abnormalities. The next one is a verb, to prove. What is the opposite? Once again, we will use the prefix dis, to disprove. To show something is not true, to show that something is wrong. That's still a scientific mystery. The theory can be neither proved nor disproved. You cannot disprove the existence of God. How about the next one? It's an adjective, reasonable. We use unreasonable, not fair, not sensible. You're being completely unreasonable. It's unreasonable of your boss to expect you to work on Sundays. The next one is reliable. What's the prefix? Unreliable. You can't rely on something or someone, or you can't depend on them. The employee got fired because he was unreliable. How about the next one? Repairable. What is the prefix? This one is a little tricky. The prefix is ir, ear, but we change the pronunciation of the word. We don't say irreparable, we say it like this, irreparable, irreparable. And let's say both of those words again. Repairable, irreparable. If something is impossible to repair or rectify, it's irreparable. Very often we use it like this, irreparable damage, irreparable harm. The earthquake caused irreparable damage to those houses. Or we can say, the scandal caused irreparable harm to the whole corporation. How about the next one? Respect. That's a noun. What's the prefix? Disrespect. I'm sorry, I didn't intend to disrespect you. Or we can use the adjective form, disrespectful. That was a very disrespectful thing to say. How about the next word, satisfied? That's an adjective. And what is the prefix? We have two different possible prefixes. We have dissatisfied and unsatisfied, and they have slightly different meanings. If you're dissatisfied, you're not happy, you're not pleased with the situation. You can say, his boss is dissatisfied with his work. Or you can say, if you're dissatisfied with the product, please return it within 30 days. But we also have unsatisfied, and that means unfulfilled. I felt unsatisfied by the meal. I'm still hungry. Or you can use unsatisfied this way. One of his remaining unsatisfied ambitions is to get a pilot's license. The next word is smoker, and that's a noun. That's a person who smokes. And what do we call a person who doesn't smoke? A non-smoker. This section is for non-smokers only. The next one is a verb, to spell. And if you don't spell something correctly, which verb do we use? What's the prefix? To misspell. I'm sorry I misspelled your name. We can also use misspell as a noun, misspelling. There were many misspellings in his email. The next word is symptomatic. Symptomatic, when you have symptoms. And the opposite is what? What's the prefix? Asymptomatic. Don't say it's asymptomatic. If someone doesn't have any symptoms, they're asymptomatic. He tested positive for the virus, but he's asymptomatic. He feels okay. How about the next one? It's an adjective, toxic. And toxic means poisonous or harmful to your health. What's the opposite? Non-toxic. I'd like to buy non-toxic organic paint. How about the next one? To understand. What is the prefix? To misunderstand. When you interpret something differently from the way it was intended, you misunderstand it. You can say, choose your words carefully to avoid any misunderstandings. And you can say, I feel very misunderstood. If you feel misunderstood, you feel that people judge you in an unfair way, that they don't really understand your intentions. You're misunderstood. And the final one is to plug. To connect something to electricity is to plug. And what is the prefix when we disconnect it? What do we say? To unplug. To disconnect something electrical. To fix your internet router, try unplugging it and then plugging it back in. How did you do on the test? How many mistakes did you make? If you only made 1 or 2 mistakes, congratulations, that's fantastic. You're pretty advanced. Your vocabulary is very good. And remember, having an advanced vocabulary is so important for fluent English, to be truly fluent and to feel comfortable in all sorts of situations when you're using English, especially at the workplace. I recommend that you learn as many words as possible and make those words active rather than passive. What does that mean? Active knowledge means you're able to use them. You don't just know the meaning, but you can use them when you're talking to native speakers. And I want to remind you of my new course, 400 Advanced English Words You Must Know for Fluent English. If you go to my website, accurateenglish.com, you can learn more about the course and how it's organized. It has 7 hours of video instruction and 7 hours of audio that you can download. I teach you the meaning of the words. I make sure you know how to pronounce them correctly, and then we say them in natural sounding sentences, and you repeat after me so that you can practice saying them naturally. In addition, there are downloadable PDF files so you can study on your own in a text format, and there are quizzes to check your progress. I chose these 400 specific words because I think they are the words that you need to know to be fluent in English. They're advanced words that are used regularly by native speakers. And you can take my 28-day challenge where you learn the 200 words in only 28 days. I have the whole curriculum planned for you, what you should be doing each day so that in 28 days you're guaranteed to master 200 of those words. And that's the new course. The new course has 200 words, and the previous course, the original course, also has 200 words. So it's 400 total, 400 advanced words that will take your English to the next level. Thanks for watching and keep practicing your English.